It looks like you're here to learn how to dress appropriately in the winter, be it for campout, to play with friends, or to record a video on how to stay warm. Although the weather app says it should feel like negative 10 degrees, I'm completely warm with this. First of all, it's really important to understand that there are three main layers when it comes to staying warm. There's the moisture-wicking layer, which is a synthetic kind of polyester material. There's an insulating layer, which is like wool or fleece. And then there's a hard shell, which could be a windbreaker, a jacket, or something else that'll protect you from the wind and the elements. Without further ado, let's start the video. So, for the feet. Here I've got some standard socks. These are going to act as my moisture-wicking layer. Everyone should pretty much have these. For the second layer, you're going to want either fleece or wool, again, as good insulating socks.
If you have neither of those, you could just double up or triple or quadruple up on these kinds of socks until your feet feel nice and toasty. Now, here I've got myself some official Scout socks from our local Scout store. You don't need official Scout socks, but it would be nice to have some thick fleece socks with nice insulation, especially around the toes. Around the ankle part, this thins out. You can't really see it. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these on before I go outside.
Next, I've got myself some good snow boots. They are a little beat up, but as you can see, nice and tough. They've got a waterproof outside, and if I go ahead and turn it around, the bottom is going to give me a good grip even on some slippery ice which we might encounter. But most importantly, the inside is super insulated. As you can see, there's fur all around, which will keep both my feet and my toes really warm, which always seems to be an issue at these campouts. So now, if we quickly review, we can see that we've got my basal sock layered right there. Then we've got the nice fleece Scout sock, and we've got our nice hard shell boots that are going to protect us from water, wind, snow, and also serve as an extra insulator.
Next up, we've got the pants. So I've got my moisture wicking layer, got my underwear and thermal underwear on under this, but next up is the insulation layer. Now, these may look like normal sweatpants, but they're not. Be careful with normal sweatpants because oftentimes those are made out of cotton. If you've got a bunch of synthetic pants, say like this one over here, where feel it, hear it? That's right, you got that kind of sound? That means it's okay to wear.
At this point, I'd like to mention that most pajamas also work as insulating layers.
Now that I've got my moisture wicking and insulation, I need a hard shell. So today I'm going to be using Scout pants or cargo pants that are nice nylon. Again, you hear that noise. As my hard shell. They're going to protect from wind and they're slightly waterproof, so they'll help me from water as well. Now, other good option would be snow pants. Now, usually with these kinds of pants, you'd wear a belt, but I'm going to wait on that, and you'll see why in the next step. All right, so next up, we've got the torso area. Once again, we've got a moisture wicking layer. This is a nice polyester shirt. No cotton in this one. I really like it. It's breathable. Make sure it's not too scratchy. Sometimes it can be for some people. Another good option for the basal layer is thermal underwear. Now, the one thing you want to make sure about your top layer, is you want to connect all your layers. You want to make sure there is no seam between this. And right now, it's a pretty big seam. So, I'm going to go ahead and tuck it. All right, so now that this is all tucked in, we're ready for the next step. All right, so next up, I've got the first part of my insulation layer. Here, I've got myself, it's this nice, it's a pretty thin sweater, but it's got a hood and it's pretty insulating. This pattern actually works pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one on next. All right, so now this layer is completely on, as you can see. And just like the last one, I'm gonna be tucking it in. Now another pretty important part is, like always, fleece or wool. You need some more insulation than this. This is not gonna cut it. If you don't have any normal wool sweaters, but you happen to have an ugly Christmas sweater lying around, go put that on, or double up on a couple layers like this, or if all else fails, you can get a sweatshirt that has some cotton, but you want to make sure that none of them are 100% cotton. Here I've got an ugly Christmas sweater, and we're gonna go ahead and put it on. All right, so now I've got this handy little Mickey Mouse guy on, and he's gonna keep me warm. Next up, we've got something that I'm sure all of you could see coming, a winter jacket. So we're gonna go and put this on. Now, this is a pretty good hard shell layer, but we can do better than that. So we're gonna add some reinforcing layers by getting kind of a rain jacket, kind of like a windbreaker intentional coat on top of that. So let's go with that on. All right, now I look even more like a penguin. We got a nice, fully done torso layer. So next up, we've got my hands. Now hands are pretty important because they've got fingers, and fingers can get frostbite easily, and you don't want to be chopping your fingers off. So let's go through the layers. Now, there is an option to moisture wick on your hands. It's a surgical glove, or like rubber latex work gloves. And then you're gonna wanna tuck those into your sleeves too, just to make sure they're really on there. So I don't have those, and it's fine if you don't either. You'll be just fine without them, as long as you follow these steps. You wanna at least have some kind of insulation layer, and this is what I recommend. One of those flimsy gloves that are good for nothing, basically, except moving your hands. Because especially for Klondike and other winter scouting activities, you're probably going to need to use your hand, whether it's to tie knots, make fires, whatever. So while keeping your hands warm, you want to be able to use them. So we're going to go ahead and put my hands in this. Now next, I've got myself some spider gloves. In the past, I've used head gloves. Those are good too. Just any kind of glove that's kind of like this. You want to make sure that they're not mittens, and you want to make sure that you are still relatively mobile with these on. Although again, the whole point of these is so you can take these off and still keep your hands warm and functional. There we go. So this one's on, and if you can see here, there's a tiny nylon kind of strap that goes around here that locks over it. So my wrists are now locked in. So let's go ahead and put on both gloves. All right, so now that we got the other layers on, it's time for the head. This right here, I'm not entirely sure what it's called, but I'm gonna be putting it on and over my ears, actually. So what this does is it protects my ears, which are actually really thin and are most likely to get frostbite, and it just adds an extra layer of reinforcement. Now this is kind of like a ski mask, and you could wear a ski mask if you want. So I also have this very nice looking hat that I'll be putting on over this. And it is most important to keep the hat always on in the cold and even at night, because you lose most of your body heat through your head. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on, not over my eyes. Make sure it covers the ears, most of the neck, and boom, look at that, I look bald. So now I successfully am extremely warm.
So here I am outside with the appropriate winter clothing, and I'm not gonna lie, it feels great. It's warm, and it does not feel like negative 10 degrees, even though it is. So, as always, a scout is prepared, and you can even beat negative degree weather if you're just prepared. Thanks for watching.